picking up. So I'm going to come back and pick this envelope here, and you can kind of see their icons through these things. So when you click on those, or you can pick them from over here. And that's why naming these things is a good thing. So my biggest concern right now is this wrist and how much influence it has up here. So I can grab these envelopes out here, the rings for those, and there's an inner and an outer envelope. So I'm going to grab the outer and just sort of drag it in, and there you can sort of see that the weight is changing on that, but it's only going to drop down so far, and I don't want it to drop too far out here. So I need to be kind of careful especially if I'm doing some of this. So I don't want it to drop off too far, or I'll lose influence out here. So that looks pretty good. Let's see how it does now with a little bit of animation. So I'm going to go back and just turn off edit envelopes and see about picking the hand in there, and let's get a little rotation on that. Yeah, so see, now that behaves so much better up here in the wrist. And let's make sure we didn't lose anything from the forearm. No, looking good up there. All right, so let's step back down now to some of these weights, and you get kind of the drift of how that's working. So I'm going to pick the hand, get edit envelopes. Let's see, I'm going to go back to shaded mode, and let's look at that thumb there. Looks like it could use a little more influence up here, so I'm going to grab that one and drag it out until I start seeing some red and yellow kind of up through there. And you can there is a way to reposition these, but I hardly ever use it, and I don't really remember exactly what it is. See if I can remember, because what I really want to do is kind of drag this envelope out so that it's not quite so concentric with the core of the bone there. Let's see, I'm trying to remember where that is. That actually might be in the old physique modifier, not the skin. So I may be off my rocker. Or is it? No, I think I know what it is. You grab, yeah, that's it. You grab the, you grab the end points of the bone line, and you can position those. So it's not making these eccentric, but it is kind of sliding their location a little bit. Yeah, so you might get a little bit better adjustment that way with these guys. So let me do that, and then get out of edit envelope, and let's see if we're getting a little bit better. Actually, I just want to grab this guy. Let's go back to shaded mode and see what's going to happen when we sort of move this thing out of plane. Okay, yeah, looks like it's doing a pretty good job of taking thumb with it. All right, that's looking good. Let's pick the bone, and in local mode, let's rotate that, because that'll be more. Oh, sorry, I forget that since that thing has a an IK on it, this is how we're controlling it, which may not be the best way to do that. I may want to back out and make my chain a little bit closer in so that I can just rotate that root bone, because it's typically more of a rotation than a orientation. Or let's try going to move and switching it to local, and yeah, I think it's still, yeah, it's I think I'm going to have to yeah, because otherwise I'm going to end up doing some of that. And I can start to see a few other little issues down here, because I think this bone has a little too much influence over what's happening right there, so I'll have to smooth that out. But let's get out of all that, and let's take a look at these fingers down here. Okay, that actually looks quite good. A little bit more influence needed up there. So one way, what I was saying earlier was that you can move out here to one of these frames, turn on your auto key, and go ahead and put a movement on these things, so that when you adjust the weight, you can tell that it's helping these things. So let's get out of auto key here, and let's pick our hand again, and go to edit envelopes, and let's pick that guy. So yeah, you can see that I need a little bit more up here. So you know, you've seen the envelope adjusting, but the issue becomes if I adjust this too much, you'll see it's going to start pulling vertices from some of the others, and we don't really want that. We want to have a little bit finer control over that rather than this just big area. So what we can do there is paint weights, and to do that, come down to the very bottom down here, and there's the paint weights button on here. So one thing I do want to emphasize is make sure you uncheck paint blend weights on there, and then you can click and start on this. Now if you want to see the tools for paint weight, press the little ellipsis button over here, and that brings up the properties for it, so your minimum strength, your maximum strength, and you'll kind of see what these do as I come over to start painting. And then the you know, if you want to see the draw string or the ring and the normal and the tracing and all that. So let me come down, activate paint weights, and you'll start to see, you know, right now obviously my brush is just huge, and if I start painting, it's just going to, you know, just completely clobber all that. And understand that you have to have a bone selected, and this is painting the weight for that bone. So let's make our brush size a little bit smaller, and to do that, I think it's Shift Alt. Nope, that's the strength, which I do want to, and you can see by that little normal that little normal line that's popping out of this thing. That's how you can tell what your strength is. So let me try Control and Alt, and yeah, that's painting. Control and Shift, and then clicking and holding and dragging with the left mouse button will bring the brush size down. So I'm going to drag that down a little bit, and I may drop the strength a little bit. So Shift Alt, and let's drop it down to about 0.25%. And I'm just going to come in and paint a little bit more influence along these guys in here, so that, and you can see the vertices of that thing kind of blending out. Just painting out that blue that's on there. Yeah, make that a little bit smoother looking. And don't really think I need to do, let me paint a little bit more in here and see what happens. That actually looks, yeah, I think that looks a little better. So yeah, we're getting pretty good results out of that. So I'm going to uncheck paint weight, come over here to this one, and I could, you know, wash, rinse, and repeat with these things. Now here's something where if a bone has undue influence over something, you can paint negative weights on things. So let me come back to this one, and so you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. If I come over here to my strength, I can dial that down into the negative numbers. So I might dial down something like negative 0.3, and then come in and start painting weight, and should be taking that out. Let me make sure I undo all that. Oh, sorry. It's not the, that's the minimum strength. Maximum strength is still set at 0.263. So what I want to do there is drag that into the negative realm, and now it should, see, it's painting the weight out on that. Another way to do that is I could take this back up to its say around 0.25 there, and add those back in. You can hold down, let me paint quite a bit here so I can take it back out. You can hold down the Alt key and press, and you see it now. You see it taking all that weight out of those. So let me undo quite a bit of that. And this is definitely the way I like to work. Painting weights just seems very natural to me, and it's a great way to fix any errors, because you can animate, you can do a test animation on these things, and get out of paint weights and out of editing envelopes, and maybe grab one of these guys, and this little pinky out there, auto key animation on it. Make sure we're doing what we need. Really bend, and we'll put quite a bit of extreme bend on it, just to kind of see what's happening. And it looks like we need to add a little bit of a little bit more weight to the finger bone here, out here at the end, to kind of keep it from distorting. So let me turn off auto key, and let's see, is it moving? Yeah. And let's come back to the hand and edit envelopes, and let's see, let's pick that one, and seems to have 100%. So maybe we want to take a little bit out of it. So let's see, let me do paint weights and hold down my Alt key and see if I can paint out some of that. Well, let's maybe take it down to negative. And then sometimes and when you run into cases like this where obviously it's just not, no matter what I'm doing, it's just not going to knock down to that. What I'll do then is there's a couple of things you can do. One is to, let's get out of paint weight, come in and select the next bone up, and then maybe paint a little influential weight onto that. So let's take that negative out. And then come in and paint weight and maybe add a little. See how that worked. Ooh, a little too much, but I may want to drop my strength down. Let's say 0.1, and let's make sure I'm not painting anything else other than these little bits right here. There we go. Maybe one more little hit on it. Yeah, now that finger is not collapsed or not looking all tapered in the wrong direction up there. And then we need to make sure that it's, if we come back out, that it's not looking too weird out there, not looking good there. Curls quite naturally. You're going to get some collapsing. I mean, that's just the nature of these things, but you don't want too much. All right, so that looks good. Another way to do that is to actually do it at the vertex level. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a later video. I'm hoping this will be enough to get you started on doing these things. So it may be a day or two before I can get to the next one.